How are you, Tiff?
I am just awesome.
You know what? I love this. I love this. I am getting Instagram going right now. Oh, shoot. No, I'm not. Golly, you'd think this was my first time I've ever done this.
Hey, Michelle.
Let me try this again. Paste. You'd think this was my first time doing this, Tiff.
Right? It's not.
I keep forgetting about all these stream keys, you know?
Yeah.
So, but Instagram should be coming alive. There is Instagram right there. We are now live on that.
Woohoo.
And welcome to the live stream, guys. How are you, Tiff? Dr. Tiff?
I am so great.
We're starting to get to be like bosom buddies here, and I need to make sure I always call you Dr. Tiff, Dr. Tiffany. But how are you, Doctor?
Well, you know what? I can't complain. I mean, I would like to, but I can't complain.
Well, welcome back for another week of, you know what? We didn't ever actually agree on a name for this, so let's just for now, let's call it Tiff and Jim's Live. How about that? We need to come up with a name for this. We have a lot of great names.
That ain't it. That's not it, though. But we need to come up with something.
Yeah. We need to come
Hola.
What's up, Gina? We are live, guys. We are live on every major social media platform that you can think of right now.
Woo.
With the exception of the TikTok, but we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. We're live across all sorts of different platforms, and this is an amazing call. If you guys are unfamiliar with this, if this is your first time to this live stream, this is a fun one. Dr. Tiff and I like to have a good time, like to laugh, and get some amazing testimonials in. And we've got some amazing testimonials today.
Yes.
We have some really amazing ones today. I'm really excited about these. But let me start off by introducing myself. My name is Jim Grasser, and I am a professional competitive barbecue cook. And I started having an amazing experience on this product. I reversed type 2 diabetes. I'm in remission. My doctor took me off of medication, however you want to word it. I just don't have type 2 diabetes anymore. And I started talking about that on TikTok. And kind of overnight, it seems like that kind of blew up. A lot of people started jumping on and getting healthy themselves. And along the way, I met Dr. Tiffany. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I will. Thank you so much. You know what? I am just a doc who is tired of writing prescriptions. Bottom line, I am done with it. It is just no more fun practicing medicine. I've been doing that for 20 years. And when you constantly have to write prescriptions for these conditions that are lifestyle related, and then turn around and have to write prescriptions for the side effects, I'm over it. So I ended up getting board certified in lifestyle medicine. That's about going to the root cause of conditions, which means changing how we eat, how we manage our stress, how we manage our sleep, so that way we can get to the root causes of these conditions that are killing us. We don't have to be on medications forever. So I ran across somebody on Facebook, just like this, social media, and they introduced me to these products, just like Jim was talking about, and it made sense. It helped people transition their lifestyles to be able to come off their medications, because that's what I like to see. So that's why I'm here with the Healthy Pitmaster, because, you know, his story. Who doesn't want to sit here next to him, get off all that stuff and losing weight? Oh my gosh, he's a superstar. I haven't even put out my pom-poms yet because I'm saving them.
So I was at a 12.2%. Let me zoom this camera out just a touch. I feel like I am like right up in it. I was at a 12.2% A1C, which is obviously through the roof. I had some awful cholesterol of 459 LDL. And today my cholesterol levels are normalized, my blood pressure is normalized, and my A1C is 5.2%. In fact, I wear a continuous glucose monitor, and I figured I would just kind of show an image of where my CGM is right now. I'm at a 104. I had to start a new sensor today. That's what that little blip is right in the middle, but 104, that's a very boring flat line. I want to ask you some questions today, I want to ask you, part of what we've been doing is me asking kind of a hard-hitting question. Now, there are so many people. Of course, when we start talking about diabetes and weight loss and all that stuff, there are so many people that are jumping to the semaglutides or the tirzepatides. And it seems like that's actually kind of becoming common like now. That's what people are going to. A new one, or it's not so new, but it seems to be kind of taking over that market, is tirzepatide. And if you're unfamiliar with that, that is Mounjaro. And then I guess Zepbound would be the weight loss version of that. And I thought, doctor, I wanted to ask you today, why? Why are we going to those? Why are doctors prescribing them? Are there side effects to them? As a doctor, what are you saying when you prescribe those, or when you see somebody who is prescribed to those? Talk to us.
Mm-hmm. You gotta love these hard-hitting questions, don't you? Well, okay, so
why are you doing it?
Well, just like when I go into the whole presentation about the issues that are killing us, obesity is huge on the list. So traditional docs that aren't really used to teaching about these lifestyle changes, or have gotten to the point to where they don't feel like they're being heard, this is an answer. So for some of them, they actually feel like they're doing good. And the people that are losing weight and making lifestyle changes with the products, they are doing well. But the tirzepatide, Zepbound, that's GLP-1, and then it also has the GLP-1 protein. So it boosts the GLP-1 like the Mounjaro, the Wegovy, not the Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy, but then it adds another piece to it. So it's like it's on even steroids more. So some people actually respond to this better because they've gotten so little response from their own GLP-1, because we all have GLP-1. That's the other thing, is it's just boosting our natural production, but it also adds more of that protein. At least the Mounjaro and the Zepbound does. And some people who have gotten plateaus with just Wegovy and Ozempic, that's why they're on that. And so the answer to that, why are doctors doing it? Some of them are doing it because they feel like they're helpful. Some of them just don't know better. And some of them, the patients are asking for it. I mean, I know I have people that come after me and are mad because I won't write it. If I don't see you trying to make all the lifestyle changes to where this is lifelong, and I explain to you all the risks and everything, and you're still begging, I still sometimes have even prescribed it because I don't offer them this option, which we're going to go into at where I have practice and I see patients.
Side effects. What about side? Because I don't think that people.
Yeah, even worse.
Can you kind of dive into some of those?
I mean, the thyroid cancer. I mean, I don't know why people don't know. It's on the internet. It's on the site. I don't know why people aren't aware of it. I mean, it's in all the commercials. Blah, 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 blah. This is what you get. Nobody's hiding it. The thyroid cancer risk, the palpitations, the gastric paralysis, where you need a tube in your stomach, and some people are having surgeries for that. The fact that food sits in your gut for so long that it can putrefy and you're getting these nasty burps, it's there. Nobody's hiding these side effects, but I believe people are desperate. And I do believe some doctors really found a way to help people, is what they're thinking. And they're like, let me do it.
Got it. It's not malicious in nature. They're not like saying, hey, I think there's this misconception that the doctors are just trying to keep people hooked on and put money in their back pocket. They're not doing that. It's just, but is there a certain level of easy button being pushed?
Probably. I mean, that, or easy button, or, let me hurry, get out the room, or let me satisfy this miserable client, this miserable patient. I mean, they can actually wreak havoc and yell and cut up like spoiled teenagers when they don't get what they want. But because I have a teenager, I handle that a little differently. I know some doctors that are like, fine, here, this is what you get. That's what you want. It's part of the whole doctors getting tired of being doctors. Just like you have patient burnout, you got doctor burnout. And some of that is here's this script to keep you quiet. That's real talk. It's not a great thing, but unfortunately that sometimes is what we can sometimes see. But my other question, my real question, because, since I got to be on the hot seat, why aren't people actually listening to all those side effects? Why are they signing up for these drugs? Why are they begging me and being nasty and giving me reviews that are horrible because I won't give it to them? Tell me that. Somebody.
You know what? I was on one myself. And to me, I thought I was so naive to it. I thought that, well, I guess this is what I need to start doing. I guess this is what I need to stay alive. And there was a fear of death. Truth be told, I thought that if I didn't take it, that I would die. It was that, and that was very real, and that was very deep rooted. Okay, I'll let you off the hot seat. Thank you. We are going to talk about the field grade system tonight. It's the Unicity field grade system. It is 2 different products and partnered with a practice, intermittent fasting, a tea that we sip on that is amazing tea, and then balance. And I wanted to do something really quick that I used to do in my live streams a lot, and it'll only take me a couple of minutes. So if you guys will indulge me for just a couple of minutes, oftentimes the product gets compared to something like Metamucil or Benefiber. And so what I used to do was I would mix the stuff up on camera. And I actually have a camera right here with some Metamucil. Oh boy, that is like really zoomed in close, isn't it? Well, that's not the way it looked on my camera. Anyway, let's do this. Yeah, we'll do something like this. Anyway, what I was going to do was, this is 8 ounces of water, and this is 8 ounces of water, and then this is specifically 300 milliliters water, which is what the Unicity bottle actually is. And I was going to mix up some of these different products and let them kind of sit here throughout this live stream. I figured I would keep that camera on them so you'd see that I wasn't moving them. Benefiber calls for 3 1/4 teaspoons, which is weird. And 3 teaspoons is the equivalent of 1 tablespoon. And you should know that. Help that I'm not a guy who's big into recipes. And a question I used to ask a lot of was, this one calls for either 1 or 2 rounded tablespoons. And so I would ask the audience, am I doing 1 or 2 rounded tablespoons? It goes to 8 ounces of water no matter what, but just type in the comment section 1 or 2. And I guess we're going to go majority rules, 1 or 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to go ahead and add 1 in right now, because no matter what, we're going to need that. And we're going to call that rounded.
Yeah, that looks rounded to me.
Okay, I see 2s. A lot of people are saying 2.
2. Oh, man.
2, 1, 2. I'm going with 2. There's the second rounded tablespoon. And then finally, our beloved product, the balance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these, and we will come back to these at the end of the live stream. And I'm just going to pour them out. You can't obviously taste them, but the visual will do it for you. When you order the system, by the way, you'll get a cool little frother that says Unicity on it. And so what I'm going to do is just mix these up real quick. You guys can see that. There. And here. Okay. So we got that going.
This is so cool.
Yeah, there we go. So we'll just let that sit. I'll leave the camera on it the entire live stream. I want to try and maybe get it a little bit. Can you guys see that okay? We'll be able to see that there's no tampering happening. There we go. Your statement, Doc. What is our problem? What's the matter? What's happening? What's going on with us? Why are we so sick? And I'm going to turn my camera off because we are definitely compressed on here.
Oh, yes. Well, I guess I got to share my screen, don't I? I wasn't ready. I was too busy looking at the bottles thinking, that's cool. Okay, anyway. Okay. Yeah, that's what doctor does after hours. So I'm just as silly as the rest of y'all. Okay. So metabolic health, that's what we're really talking about. We're talking about these conditions that actually kill us. It's a global concern. It affects people of all nations. It affects people of all ages. But there's actually some hope. These can actually be reversed with natural changes, some natural things we can do, very easy things. So looking at a snapshot with diabetes, you'd be surprised at so many people that are actually dealing with diabetes. 9 out of 10 people even also have pre-diabetes and don't know it. And then the heart disease risk. I mean, this is the number 1 cause of death for us in the US. And I mean, it's high on the list, even globally. When you look at the global health crisis, you look at how many numbers of people are getting diabetes and how by 2040, the numbers are just going to keep getting worse. And see, this is global. It's not just the US. This is Europe. This is Western Pacific. This is South Central America. This is Africa. So the first question I like to ask when I get to talking about these conditions or the fact that so many people have issues with metabolic health is, do you know someone who has heart disease, cancer, chronic lung disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, chronic kidney disease, Alzheimer's? And if you're like me, you pretty much can't go to a family function without tripping over someone, without talking to someone who has something like this, who is dealing with the complications like amputations or losing problems with their vision, right? And so why does this matter? Why do we talk about all these conditions as if they're all linked together? Because they are. They have one thing in common, and that's insulin resistance. You look at this little snaky picture that really does not look appealing. I mean, just like these conditions aren't appealing. Erectile dysfunction, arthritis, fatty liver, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is the leading cause of infertility for women, osteoarthritis, childhood obesity, dementia, migraines. So what is insulin resistance, right? Insulin is a hormone that we already have in our bodies. When I say insulin resistance or even insulin, people immediately think of diabetes, but this hormone we have, and it has a huge range of jobs, delivering energy into the cells, but it also will store glucose. Excess glucose is fat. So it regulates blood sugar levels. And said, then what is insulin resistance? It's a condition in which the cells don't really respond well to insulin. And what causes that? Having too much insulin in the bloodstream, hyperinsulinemia, or the things we eat and drink, sometimes both of them. If you're eating a diet that's high in 70% carbohydrates, that would make you have to release too much insulin. So given this little graph, that nice little looking like a Happy Meal picture down there in the corner, right? If you eat something like that, there's a lot of carbohydrates there. There's the fries, there's the bun for the burger, there's the sugar in the soda. It's going to shoot up that carbohydrate level, that blue line. It's going to shoot that up significantly. And what it does is it makes your pancreas have to release insulin to bring that sugar down, because that is the job of insulin, to bring that sugar down, bring it into the cell so you use it. The pancreas is an organ behind your stomach, okay? And so what happens is when you eat so much carbohydrate, your pancreas is like going crazy, like, oh, let's hurry and do something. So it makes and it releases a lot of insulin. But the problem is that insulin doesn't come down quickly. It hangs out for 3 or 4 hours. So in the first part of it, kicking up the insulin levels, it brought the sugars down. But because it's hanging around so much, it drops the sugars down too much to where you're lower than where you need to be. In this red zone here, that's that itis time. That's that time to where you're falling asleep after eating that high carbohydrate meal. When the whole house goes to sleep after those big events and you've had all those chips and macaroni and cheese and dressing and yada, yada, yada. That's what that's about. So what can you do? There are 5 things you can actually do immediately, even without using the products. So there are people that are trying to reverse these things without having any help. And that would be trying to do a low carb or a low glycemic index diet to where you're eating carbohydrates that aren't going to shoot up your sugar like that. And that's going to take some teaching to understand what that means, right? And then you have the processed carbs that nobody needs to be eating. I was even talking to a patient today, and he's so cute. We've been trying to work on his sugars, but what he revealed to me today, after I've been trying to work on his sugars and his lifestyle changes, is that he eats cereal every day. And I was like, why are you doing that? Well, that has fiber in it. No, it doesn't. It's processed. Processed meaning, so processed foods, they're foods that really don't look like what they started out as. You know, if they started out as wheat and they start looking like a powder, that's processed. Okay. Those burgers at McDonald's, that no longer looks like beef. Yeah, that's processed. So nobody needs to be eating those. And that definitely needs to go. And then your exercise, your resistance training is huge. So not just your cardio, building your muscle actually helps you bring in the glucose. So you burn that sugar, you use it. High fiber. There's some great studies on how if you increase the fiber, so like 40 grams a day, you can reverse cholesterol, reverse diabetes. But who's eating 40 grams of fiber a day? I'm not. Well, I tried my best, but that is so hard, right? And then time-based eating to where you start having periods to where you don't eat. You quiet your insulin because you stop eating at certain times. So the great thing is we have a product that we have been using that helps you do all 5 of these things to make it easier. And we're going to talk about that for the rest of the call.
Love that. That is so thorough. It's a high level overview, but it tells you exactly what's going on. here's the deal, folks. Everybody listening right now. This is an amazing call. We actually have Dr. Tiffany here to kind of answer questions and that sort of thing. We've also got some amazing testimonials coming up here in just a moment. If you know somebody who could benefit from this product, as in you know somebody who has one of the conditions that she just talked about. If you know somebody who is sick, they have type 2 diabetes, they've got a weight problem, they have high blood pressure, they have some heart conditions, let's get them into this conversation and have them listen to some of these testimonials and have them listen to Dr. Tiffany. So the way you do that is you'll go and you'll type the word, the symbol for @ in the comment section and start typing their name. If you can think of your mother, your mother has diabetes and you know what, hey, I want my mom to hear this because I care about her. I want her to listen to this. Type the @ symbol and then just start typing out her Facebook name and it will tag her and she'll get a notice that she's here. And let's go over 5 people. Invite 5 people that you know. And truthfully, Dr. Tiffany, 9 out of 10 people are metabolically dysfunctional. So literally 9 out of 10 people could directly benefit from this. So it's kind of everybody you know. So let's everybody tag 5 people. And the way you do it is just hit that @ symbol and then start typing their name. And when they pop up, hit enter. That's it. Dr. Tiffany, I'm pretty excited about Stephen. Why don't you introduce our first guest? How about that?
Oh, yes. And, I'm probably going to let him say how he came across me, but this is somebody that I've gotten to meet on social media. And, when you meet somebody and you talk to them and they're just in love with what the products are doing for them, so much so he would even go to a restaurant. And this is when we were waiting a little bit before taking the eating our meal with the balance. And he would tell the waiter, hold on, I need you to let me know when it's going to be X amount of time so I can take this fiber because I'm serious about this. Okay. So much so they do, he's somebody that when he actually gets into something, he gets in head on, but he's been able to decrease his sugars. I mean, he's helping his family and he's just such a kind person. So I wouldn't have known some of the things he's had to deal with. So I can't wait to hear his story about some of the things he's dealt with and things he's overcome with these products.
I will turn myself off.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for the kind words, Dr. Tiffany. And to Jim, thank you for the opportunity to share tonight. And Dr. Tiff, you're right. I used to ask the waiter at the table, when is food coming out? Because I need to time this out right to take my fiber. I even left my bottle at the restaurant one night and came home. And I called the restaurant and I said, I need my bottle. I'm coming back to pick it up. Because that's how serious I was about trying to change my lifestyle. So let me share a little bit about my story. For the past few weeks, we've heard some commonalities around people reducing their blood sugar, reducing cholesterol, losing weight, and things like that. So I'll talk about those first, but I want to introduce some new things that were very personal to me that improved throughout taking the Feel Great system. So in 3.5 months of taking the supplement, I saw some markers improve in my lifestyle. Now, just to set the landscape for you, I've been on a medically supervised keto lifestyle for at least the last 3 to 5 years. And I thought I was doing all the things right. Come to find out that most of the things that were being addressed were symptomatic and not root cause. And so in 3.5 months of taking the Feel Great system, I lost 12 pounds. I lost 6 inches off my waist. I went from a size 42 to a size 36. I also decreased my A1C. I went from a 6.3 to a 5.8. And that picture that you see on the screen there is my before and then my 3.5 months coming out of it. And you can see the weight loss in my face. Here are the really big ones that I want to talk about today, and I'll explain to you how they affected my life. I was struggling with chronic fatigue for 25 years, but I hid it very well by drinking 2 liters of coffee a day to get through the morning portion of my workday. I had national responsibilities in my job. I worked for one of the country's largest communications providers, and I had high visibility, and that meant that I was constantly visible to senior leadership. I would interview them on calls, and I had to always be on my A game. So I was drinking 2 liters of coffee a day to get through the morning. But what happened was I was napping 3 to 4 hours a day, and there was nothing I could do about it. It totally consumed my life. I had no energy. When the coffee stopped working, I switched to 5-hour energy, and I was taking 2 of those a day. And the 5-hour energy drinks gave me maybe about 3 hours on the top end of energy. And then I crashed out and I had to sleep. It was so bad that my chronic fatigue debilitated me to the point where I told the doctor last year, if my house was to catch on fire, I'm going to have to let it burn down because I've got no energy to get up. I've got no drive to move. I'm just completely tired, completely worn out. My son, who's 11 years old, he would ask me, Daddy, can you spend some time with me? Can we play some basketball? Can we play some video games or some Uno? And I'd always say to him, hey son, look, let me take a nap. And when I get up, I'm all yours. Let's play. By the time I woke up, it was time for bed for my son. And I missed that opportunity. And I was so angry at myself. I was so mad and frustrated at myself. And then I had the overwhelming emotions of feeling like I'm a failure as a father. How could I let this happen day in and day out? And I fought this for 25 years. So the doctor put me on a battery of tests. And here's what we did find out. We found out that my testosterone was low. We found out that I had sleep apnea. And the doctor also put me on Wellbutrin for mood and for also energy. Well, the testosterone didn't work in making me feel any better. My energy levels were unaffected. The sleep apnea, the CPAP machine, didn't help either. And the Wellbutrin I tried for 60 days, and it did absolutely nothing. My mood was no different, nor was my energy levels. And I was really in a place of being chronically fatigued, tired, bottomed out, but also being very unmotivated. It was hard for me to get up and move and make decisions. And I thought it was always a state of mind thing. And I come to find out later on, as Dr. Tiffany talked earlier tonight about insulin resistance having an impact on all of these areas of my life. So here's how the Feel Great system ended up impacting me from those perspectives. My chronic fatigue on day 1 of taking the Feel Great system, I went from a 3 to 4 hour nap to a 15-minute nap to today I'll take a nap if I need it, if it comes up and I need it. My sleep has improved even if I don't get a full 8 hours of sleep. When I wake up in the morning, it's not a struggle to get up out of bed. I can hit the floor and wake up. I'll be real with you. There's some mornings maybe I don't want to get out of bed because I'm comfortable, but it's not because I'm tired and I'm that groggy that I can't get out of bed. On top of that, my mood is elevated and I feel so much better. I was telling my younger brother a few weeks ago that I'm 45 this year, 46 this year. And I said, I feel the best I've ever felt in life. And I feel the most confident in who I am today at this point in time. And I can attribute that to the Feel Great system working on something very specific. And that was the insulin resistance. And as my insulin resistance started to go down and my insulin sensitivity started to go up, it brought on incredible healing benefits for my body. And my body now started to heal itself, and I'm reaping the benefits of all of that. And so if there's anyone out there that's had any of the symptoms that I've had tonight, know that you're not alone, because I thought I was in this chronic fatigue. After all the tests, doctors couldn't figure it out. So I figured this is just something I got to live with for the rest of my life. And I'm glad that I found Dr. Tiffany. And how I found her was I was searching online for natural ways for me to reverse type 2 diabetes. I had reversed type 2 diabetes before coming onto the Feel Great system, but I was stuck in a pre-diabetic mode for the last 3 years. And my only markers that I was looking at to know that I broke diabetes to pre-diabetes was my A1C number. And A1C is not a full picture. It's a momentary snapshot that gives you a temperature check. And what really needed to be checked was my insulin levels, and we never addressed that. But since taking the Feel Great system, I have had insulin levels checked. My insulin levels are down now, and I'm feeling great.
Love it, love it, love it.
I love it. We got a lot of cameras on now. Dr. Tiff, why don't you, what happened here? Can you kind of, how did that work? Give us a quick snapshot. How did it work?
Oh yeah. No, I love that you shared all that, Steve. I think that is wonderful. I think that's important to hear. So many people deal with mood issues and don't say anything. And so they keep struggling, or they try the medications and they don't work, or they get side effects from them. And so I am happy to hear that. So with chlorogenic acid, that actually does help a great deal with boosting the mood. There was even a study that looked at chlorogenic acid versus just green coffee beans to see if it was the caffeine part of it. No, it's chlorogenic acid that helps with boosting the mood. And then you have the saponins that do it well. But your theobromine, I love theobromine, maybe because I'm a chocolate person. So I'm a huge fan of the theobromine properties and how that helps with dilating blood vessels, so allowing you to feel relaxed. So it definitely helps with the mood, and it becomes something that, why wouldn't you want to be on it? You don't have to deal with the side effects. And my kids call it my happy juice. They're like, you're in this hippie phase now. I mean, I don't know who this mother is. She's always happy about things. Nothing seems to get her. And they're right. I mean, it takes a lot to get me, but I've really enjoyed these products. I can understand. I can feel Stephen with his results. I can understand it entirely.
I want to jump in here. McGill MP said, Metamucil helps lower my sugar. Interestingly enough, McGill, I don't know if you've been here the entire live stream or not, but I've got this camera on right here. This little camera right here. This one right here is Metamucil. This one right here is Balance, which is what we're talking about. And then this one right here is Benefiber, though it just looks like water, actually. But we've got them right here. And there are some fundamental differences. We'll get into more detail about what those differences are here in just a moment. But keep listening, McGill. Guys, I want to just reemphasize, if you know anybody who could benefit from this system, if you know anybody who could benefit from this information, tag them. Bring them into this live stream. Tag people. Tag 5 people. Make it your goal that I'm going to invite 5 people into this live stream. Information is power. What's the matter with learning? And we've got an opportunity, again, to listen to Dr. Tiffany. She's a medical doctor, 19 years?
Yep, 20. I'm getting up there.
Why wouldn't we tap into that resource? Stephen, I appreciate you, brother. I loved hearing that story. I am going to end up bringing you back here in a little bit, if you don't mind. But I love that. I want to introduce the next one. First off, I want to do this. There we go. And I'm going to get myself out of the picture here in a moment. But I wanted to introduce our next testimonial. Her name is Blenda. And I was doing a live stream, boy, it's been a year and a half ago, something like that, and crossed paths with Blenda. Now, Blenda was a truck driver. She tag team truck drove with her granddaughter. And so what tag team truck driving means is that her truck ran down the road 20 hours a day. And oftentimes we hear this, just exercise and eat better. And if you're in a semi that's rolling down the highway 20 hours a day, where are you going to exercise? Where? And then on top of that, they have a fridge built into those trucks, and it's about this big. So it's not like they can hit the grocery store and just load up with good foods. The cab is super compressed. Now, Blenda, I'll let her tell her story, but I want to emphasize the fact that Blenda did everything that she's about ready to tell you from the seat of a semi. So without further ado, let me get her in here. And I'm going to go ahead and remove myself from this picture here. But hi, Blenda, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Okay, let me get myself out of here.
Okay, tell you my story. But Jim, I'm going to start a little bit sooner than when I met you. But yes, Jim, I would be happy to. But first, I would like to say that the story started 30 years or more ago. When I first started dealing with uncontrollable weight gain, and I saw doctors, and doctors couldn't tell me what was wrong. Nobody could tell me what was happening. But little did I know then, the beginning of what I know now is insulin resistance. Insulin resistance was hitting me then. This is when I was like 30 years old. And showing its creepy head, and medical professionals couldn't answer any questions for me. But then now in 2013, I began driving a new career, driving a semi. And in 2014, my dispatcher promoted me to a certified instructor and trainer. Well, my fourth student was my granddaughter. And after her trifecta, her state inspection exam, and her skills, she chose to stay with me as a permanent and as a team member. Our truck was now a team truck, 24/7 a week, 365 days a year. Team truck. Now, if you weren't aware, healthy eating is virtually impossible for team truck drivers. Actually, truckers, period. The only thing we have to shop at out there is occasionally you might look up on a Walmart that you can actually put your truck into and not get towed away or booted. But most likely you were in a convenience store called a truck stop, which had nothing more than convenience store shopping, donuts and cakes and pastries and these freeze-dried hamburger patties that they put on a bun and gave you for breakfast and stuff that really wasn't healthy at all. 2018, I had issues with passing a physical, however. When we are truck drivers, we have to pass a physical once a year. Or actually, with me, it was once a year because I had already been diagnosed with sleep apnea. And because of sleep apnea, I had to do my physical once a year. And suddenly I had problems from A1C to blood pressure to cholesterol, overactive bladder, sleep apnea. It became evident that I had to do something. But when I saw a doctor, I was told we need to put on metformins and statins and blood pressure medicines. Sent me to a specialist for lung breathing issues, which was diagnosed with COPD. Well, I understand these things were lifelong issues for me. He said, there's no way I'm never going to get out of it. I'm going to be on it forever. This couldn't be. My dad passed from diabetes and a heart condition. I became determined. I'm sorry I'm emotional. I became determined to beat this somehow. And one day, lo and behold, I ran across a random TikToker who claimed he had won the battle. Shock, reality, this is possible. No way. I listened on pins and needles, and what he said made 100% reasonable and truthful facts. It made sense that this could be my answer that the doctors couldn't tell me all these years. I'm sorry, I'm emotional.
It's okay. It is okay.
I grabbed hold of what he was telling me, and I'm so glad I did. And today, I will not look back. Today, I will never look back. On my first and second day on Feel Great System, I felt a major change. I had energy, which I had never had probably in 20 or 30 years. Suddenly, I had energy. I had a boost. Checking my blood pressure, it was normal. I felt energy I haven't even seen for 20 or 30 years. Started watching my blood pressure sugar numbers around the second or third week, and more often than not, glucose was down. Waking up was no problem any longer. Long found that I no longer had the sundown syndrome any longer either with my blood sugar. I was waking up 100% sure this is all changing in my life. I contacted my doctor. I went to see him. After 4 months, my doctor confirmed. I had told him that I'm sure I'm not going on statins. Actually, off all meds today. I'm 68 years old on August the 27th. I started on this program when I was 66, turning 67. He reluctantly agreed and said, what's your numbers? Come back to him 3 months later, and he agreed 100%. Keep doing what you're doing. Today, he says, I'm no longer diabetic. My cholesterol is coming down reasonably. Now my blood pressure is stable beyond 125 to 65 and never high. My cholesterol comes in at no higher than insulin resistance. I mean, shows that I'm no longer insulin resistance. I've dropped 120 pounds. I feel that Feel Great system has changed my life. Since this, my granddaughter, co-driver, I put on it too. She has managed to lose 30 pounds, but she was never as heavy as me. She's not also 30 years old, but never showed signs of metabolic disorder except for her inability to lose weight and keep it off. I knew this was insulin resistance, just like me. It was insulin resistance, just like me. Jim, here's a picture of me the day I received my 1,000,000-mile marker with Prime. That was in December of 22. I started the program sometime in early January, February, March, something like that. I'm not sure exactly what month it was. You probably could tell me better than I can tell myself. But I know that's what I looked like then. And you guys see me now. I was 67, turning 68 there. Now, I'm still the same age, but I don't look it anymore. I don't feel it anymore. I feel like I've lost 20 or 30 years. I also got my daughter on the program. She's also fighting with weight and diabetes. She has only lost 40 pounds. They're not sure about her A1C because we won't find out for much longer. Her blood sugar was coming down last time she was at the doctor, but it hasn't come down far enough no longer to be considered diabetic. But I had been on a metabolic program with a doctor out of Pennsylvania. He was dealing with hormonal issues prior to coming on this system, which wasn't obviously helping me, but I think it did help me to get my metabolic functions under control. That's why I think that when I went on this system, it immediately just changed me like that. It turned me around in a heartbeat, and I'll never look back. This program, so many people in America need to be on this program. So many people need it and just don't realize it yet. I hope Jim is right that someday this stuff will be given to us in restaurants before we eat. It'll be offered as part of the menu. Take a balance before a meal. This become nature until we get our food fixed. At any rate, but no.
Linda, that story is absolutely amazing. I've heard this. I've heard your story, but truthfully, I've been kind of along for the ride the entire time, and it just gets better and better and better with every passing day. I want to highlight. I want to real quick. Michelle Morgan just said something, and this is key. If you're watching, this is why you were tagged, because someone cares and loves you, guys. This system really does change lives. It's quite amazing. If you know somebody that could benefit from the system, just tag them. You just type the @ symbol to tag somebody. Just type the @ symbol and then type their name. And as you start typing their name, they'll pop up and hit enter. And that will invite them into this live stream. Let's get this word out there because it really is changing lives. Glenda, I love your story. If you don't mind, I'm gonna shut your camera off for a little bit. I want to bring in Jason.
Well, wait.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
You deserve all of those, Miss Blenda. You deserve all of that. All that. I love your story. I love you sharing it with all your tears. I feel it. All the comments in here, Jim, that you're just too nice to say. All these people that are just loving you for you introducing this to them. I get the same kind of text from my people. I'm sure a lot of you do. This is something we get to share with the people we love, because we get to see people like Miss Blenda feel better, reverse their diseases, lose their weight, and just the overall enjoying life and looking better. So she gets all my pom-poms. Okay.
Thank you, doctor.
I love this. Okay, Blenda, if you don't mind kind of hanging out, I'm going to, we're a little bit pressed for time. I want to try and keep this inside of an hour, and I want to get questions. And we've got another amazing testimonial coming up. So if you don't mind, I'm going to turn the camera off, but I'm going to ask you to stick around so that I can bring you back here in a little bit. Will that work?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Guys, this next guy, his name is Jason. Jason Vogler, and I came across Jason on TikTok. And truthfully, when I was getting into this, everybody was talking about this guy, and he was almost like bigger than, like, I don't know. Everybody had heard about him. Everybody was talking about him, and then I got to know the guy. And honestly, he has sat right here in my center island, my kitchen island. I'm doing my live stream from my kitchen island. He sat right next to me. He's been to my home. We've actually gotten an opportunity to actually get to know each other. An amazing guy with a more amazing story, and I don't want to waste any more time talking in his place. What's up, Jason? How are you, brother?
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So I kind of went a different route. I was one of those. I'll take you back to 2014. I was a big boy. I kind of didn't do much. And doctor tells me one day, well, it looks like you have diabetes. And I was young and dumb and I knew everything. And I was like, so what? I don't care. I didn't see any way that it was going to affect my body, but I really should have paid attention because it kind of took over after a few years. I'll skip ahead to 2020, right in the middle of all the mess that was going on in the world. And I had eye surgery in 2000, so I should have had perfect vision. I did for the longest time, but gradually and slowly it started to get dimmer and dimmer, and I couldn't see at one point more than 5 feet in front of my face. And I finally had to reach out to my eye doctor, and I'm like, what's going on? He's like, do you happen to be diabetic? I'm like, yeah, but what's that got to do with anything? I had what they call diabetic retinopathy, and it had given me, at the age of 40, it gave me cataracts in both my eyes. And that was my big wake-up call, because by then I was pushing 400 pounds. I was eating whatever I wanted. I didn't really give too much thought to any of it. And I was getting sicker and sicker, and I didn't understand. Well, so if I'm diabetic and that's causing this, then I got to do something. But what do I do? And so the first thing everyone tells you, just go exercise. Go to the gym. Just get in good shape, and you'll be fine. I have really high functioning anxiety and depression. And when you're that size in a gym with that many people who have that many muscles and you don't know what you're doing, it's not a good recipe. It didn't work. And when that went, so, okay, well, you just need to eat better. Okay. I follow the American Dietary Association's dietary guidelines. They say 2,000 calories a day. Okay. I got fatter. 1,500 calories a day. Still got fat. I cut myself to 800 calories a day, and I was starving myself so profoundly that I wound up in the hospital with malnutrition. So that wasn't going to work. Okay. But what about this keto thing? Keto's going around everywhere. Keto's cool. Everyone's bragging about keto. I didn't like keto. Big boy likes his pizza and his burgers. And if you tell me I can't have...
Oh man.
Oh no, Jason.
I know. It was getting good too.
Where
I'm
did you
like
go?
on the edge of my seat.
Oh,
They're gone.
Jason, I'm gonna send him a text.
But that's real talk. You try to tell people cut back on carbohydrates, go work out, but they don't have the energy to work out. Cut back on carbohydrates, but they're addicted to carbs, and that's going to be hard to do. That's why this system is helpful. Increase those carb cravings. That's what it does, and giving the energy to work out.
Well, I want to do. I want him to come back. I wonder if his phone just died or something. I just shot him a text. He's not replying. Do I show the picture?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing.
Yes, it is.
So Jason has lost upwards of, I think it's something like he's right at 200 pounds he's lost on the system.
Wow.
He has reversed his type 2 diabetes. He no longer has high blood pressure. I think it's cool that phone just overheated. I don't know if he just sent back his phone overheated. So we'll see if we can get him back in here. I'm gonna say try and
Wow. That's it.
Okay. But I think it's cool that he used the same picture right there. That guy doesn't even look the same.
Yeah.
But it's the same shirt. Oh, I think we got him back. Here he is. Well, we'll see. There he is.
Sorry, my phone overheated on me.
There
So keto didn't work for me. Cutting calories didn't work for me. Exercise didn't work for me. I went to my doctor, like so many people do. And I had one of those doctors who would ask me, well, how are you feeling today? And I would say, well, this hurts or this doesn't feel good. And, well, here's a pill. Here's another pill. Here's another pill. We didn't get to the bottom of what was causing it. We didn't investigate my diet. We didn't investigate if I was doing proper exercise. We just wanted to do pills. And the side effects started to add up. It started to overtake the illness that I was dealing with. At that point, I had non-alcoholic fatty liver. I had insanely high blood pressure. My A1C was over 14. I was the biggest I ever got. I was 483 pounds. My anxiety, my depression, my mental health was just in shambles. Like, it didn't take much to set me off. I had sleep apnea so bad that I was sleeping maybe an hour a night restfully. And that contributed to really bad moods. I was a hot mess, and the pills weren't doing it for me. And the day that my doctor finally put me on the max dose of metformin, we said, here's 2,000 milligrams. You're going to take this for 30 days. You're going to go home. You're going to come back, and I expect you to lose 10 pounds. Okay. I did that. I went home. I walked everywhere. I exercised. I cut myself to eating steamed chicken and broiled chicken, steamed broccoli, and brown rice, because that's healthy food, and that's gonna I came back after 30 days. I gained 3 pounds. My doctor got extremely mad at me. He actually threw me out of his office after he told me that he didn't have the time or the energy to waste on some fat, lazy slob who didn't care about his health. And at that point, I was out of options. Like, the doctor's supposed to be the one that helps you. The doctor's supposed to make it better. The doctor's supposed to give you something that cures it. My doctor gave me a bunch of pills and then gave me a bunch of attitude when it didn't work. And I just gave up at that point. I stopped caring. I ate what I want. I didn't even try to work out anymore. I was miserable. I was sick. They told me I was going to be sick the rest of my life. They told me I was going to be fat the rest of my life. Why bother? And it took an encounter with a gastric surgeon telling me that I could have surgery. I could have the little band thing done, but I had to lose 30 pounds. It's like, forget it. I don't care. And I was ready to give up. I reached a point where I said, if I go to bed tonight and I don't wake up tomorrow morning, I'm okay with that, because this sucks and I don't like it. And lo and behold, one day I'm scrolling through TikToks. I'm eating a tub of ice cream because I had a really bad day. And I discover someone talking about the system, about how simple it is, about how easy it is, about how there's so much data. It's been tested. It's been verified. Other people have independently checked it out, and it works. And I tried it, and I was skeptical. I was like, this isn't going to happen. And if it does happen, I'm going to lose like 15 pounds tops. 30 days of using the system. I go in for a physical. My A1C dropped 4 whole points in a month. I was expecting 20 pounds tops. I lost 60 pounds in a month. Okay, you got my attention now. Okay, this works. I stuck with it. I told my doctor where to put his pills. And I said, you know what, I'm going to try this way because your way hasn't done anything for me. And my 90 days came and went. They say give us 3 months for it to give you the best results and see what's going on. 90 days come and go. I'm down 81 pounds. Cool. We go in, we test my blood, my A1C. And the doctor's waiting for the test, and I hear the assistant say, it's 7.1. And he goes, for Jason, are you sure? Did you do it right? I don't think you did it right. Redo that test. It was 7.1. So in 3 months, the system managed to take my A1C from uncontrollably high, like my blood was the consistency of maple syrup every single day, to almost healthy, almost out of the range diabetes. It worked. And now I'm 2 years in on the system. I have lost somewhere in the area because I don't even weigh myself because the weight is just a number and the results are so much more profoundly impactful than just how much you weigh. But the last time I weighed myself, I was down roughly 180-ish pounds. My A1C, the last time I tested it in April, was a 4.9. The day I started in July of 2022, it was 13.3. I would say this stuff changed my life. I owe my life. I owe my health. I owe my vitality to this system. And if I can do it and Jim can do it, everyone here, anyone who needs help, let us help you, because I took a chance and I'm still here today.
Okay. You know what, brother? I have heard that about, I don't know, 30 times now, and it's never gotten old. It's never gotten old. I love hearing that. We are definitely up against our hour, and Dr. Tiff and I are really trying to make sure that we keep this inside of an hour. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got our little display right here that I wanted to show, so I'm going to do this real quick. And then I think what we'll do is we set an hour, so we're going to stop at an hour. But if you want to stick around for 5 minutes or so, something like that, are you okay with sticking around for 5 minutes, Dr. Tiff?
I am. I mean, yeah. I got so much to say to Jason. So go do
Okay. So that'll be the plan. Let me go through. I'm going to do this. Well, actually, Dr. Tiff, you go first. Here, I keep on.
Oh my gosh. Oh my, I mean, there's just way too much stuff in there, Jason. I think the first time we met was on my TikTok lives when you would join and be helpful and talk about things. I was like, who is this guy? He has this great story. I'm like, everybody has to hear this. This is just awesome. But what I didn't hear is I didn't hear that horrible experience you had with your doctor. Horrible. But what I love is that you went back showing your results. That's the only way these doctors that don't get it, that's the only way they're going to get it, is when you go back and you show them. So, I mean, kudos to you. I don't have enough. I should have brought 2 pom-poms up here, but your story is phenomenal. This is why I'm doing this, to help more people get off of medication. So every time I hear this does this for me. I got off of my blood pressure medicine, but your story is just life changing. So thank you so much for sharing. So much.
I love it. Okay, let me do this real quick. Jason, I'm going to shut your camera off temporarily. I'm going to do this little demonstration here, and then I'm going to bring everybody back in for questions. So with that in mind, this is kind of cool. Obviously, you can't taste the stuff, but I've had it sitting here in the camera the entire time, and I think the consistency is really kind of key. So soluble and insoluble fiber. The soluble fiber, well, insoluble fiber does not dissolve in water, and it kind of goes through your body like a scrub brush or a Roto-Root or something like that. I used to eat some things like quinoa. I talk a lot about quinoa. When you buy it in the bag, it looks a certain shape, and then you boil it, and it still looks that same shape. And then you eat it, and it tastes good, and the next day you poop, and it still looks the same shape. And I used to think, man, I think I have like wasted $2. Like it just, nothing happened. Like what did I do there? And the reality is that insoluble fiber, while it looks like it's not doing anything, it actually is doing a lot. It's going through your body just like a Roto-Rooter. It's getting rid of all the stuff that we're not going to absorb. And so it really helps our bodies with naturally regulating our glucose. The other side of that is the soluble fiber, the stuff that does dissolve in water. It forms a thick, sticky, fibrous kind of matrix. You can kind of see on this jar right now. I'm doing this over my laptop. What could go wrong here? It forms this thick, sticky matrix, and it kind of slows down your body's ability to process the carbohydrate. Now, what happens when we do that? We eat a slice of white bread, and instead of getting a quick high glucose spike, we get a slow gradual climb. And what does that do to our insulin? Instead of getting a quick high insulin spike, we get a slow gradual insulin climb. And that ultimately helps to sensitize ourselves, resensitize ourselves to the insulin, as Dr. Tiffany was alluding to earlier. Now, the other part of the product is the tea, our Unimate. And we opened up this talking about Mounjaro and tirzepatides. And then, of course, that leads into Ozempic and all those. And Dr. Tiff, I'm not going to spend too much on those, but you were talking about GLP-1s. There's a doctor, there's this guy named Dr. Ben Bickman, who is a professor of cell biology and physiology at Brigham Young University. He's been teaching about this topic for about the last 14 years at Brigham Young. He has somewhat dedicated his life to the study of insulin resistance. He's been published more than 30 times on the topic of metabolic health. Anyway, Dr. Ben Bickman looked at Unimate. And in fact, let me bring up a study right here. This study right here. This study was done by Dr. Ben Bickman. This is published research, and it's looking at Unimate, this tea right here. Now, Dr. Ben Bickman has studied it more than once. In fact, what did I do here? He studied it more than once. He's done a lot of research on it, and he found that it actually increases GLP-1 production by up to 70% during a fasted state. So the way that we work this system is you wake up and you drink a tea. Pretty simple. You're intermittent fasting, and you sip on a tea. This tea will help suppress your appetite. It kind of helps extend the fast, gives you an amazing boost of energy, kind of clears your mind. You think very clear. But kind of most importantly in the background, it's boosting your GLP-1 in a very natural, plant-based kind of way, kind of the way that we were supposed to be doing it. When you're done with that first tea, just transition into the second tea. Oh, you can drink it hot or cold. You can drink it in as much or as little water as you want. When you order, you get a bottle like this, and it has a little line that says Unimate. You can use this bottle. Personally, I use a 30-ounce Yeti tumbler. Either or, whatever's best for you. Just drink the product. Before you eat your heaviest meal of the day, you mix this up in what would be 300 milliliters of water. And in fact, your little bottle has a line for that as well. Just about 5 or 10 shakes and down the hatch, and then enjoy your meal. Now, I'm talking too much. I'm trying to get a lot of information there. What I want to do is actually just pour this stuff out. And I want to kind of illustrate the viscosity, right? We want that stuff to be nice and thick. So you can kind of see balance. This is balance, and you can see how it's kind of coating the walls of the glass. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Let me try it on this one here. You can kind of see how it's coating the walls of the glass, the ball jar, right? Mm-hmm. Now, Benefiber. Honestly, it looks like water.
Yeah.
It has the consistency of water. It looks like water. It's clear like water. If we pour it,
Kind of pours like water.
it kind of pours like water. So, Benefiber. That's not going to do a whole lot. I'm going to get those out of the way. Now, this one is the one, and actually, I'm going to scoot the microphone a little bit closer because this one, Metamucil, tells a different story. There's a little plop at the end of the Metamucil. You ready? So, this is your Metamucil. It's always just cracked me up.
Who is drinking that? Well, I laugh because someone said it does, decrease their fiber. Decrease their sugars is what I saw somebody put in the comments.
Yeah. Feel free. That looks absolutely repulsive.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, there's that. That is the Metamucil. And then finally, Balance. This has been sitting for about an hour. Nice and smooth, nice and tasty. Anyway, so that is the demonstration. Obviously, you can't taste it.
Yeah, but that's I love that demonstration because the Metamucil comes out in a big clump, like, for lack of a better word, a piece of stool, right? But it's already formed together. It's not grabbing anything with it. Where the viscosity of the Balance, the thickness, that allow it to wrap around those carbohydrates, that fat, to allow it to not get absorbed. That's why that works like it does.
Yep. Okay, so here we go. I've gone through that. I've talked a lot. It is 7:07 my time. We'll go to 7:15. That's 8 minutes. If necessary, if nobody has questions, then we'll cut it off pretty quick. But what I wanted to do was bring in all 5 of us, all 3 of the guests, and ask the audience if they have any questions whatsoever. If you have questions, then feel free to ask your questions of the audience here. If you guys have questions, were there any side effects? Were there any? Ask away. And you can just say Jason or Glenda or Steve. And if there aren't any questions, then that'll be a pretty quick Q&A portion. But while we're waiting for some questions, I wanted to say thank you guys, all you guys. Those are amazing stories.
Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Doctor.
Diane has a question, Jim. Do you have to stay on it for life? Here we go. Do you have to stay on it for life?
I will.
And then I'm going to ask. Oh, Glenda, you take the first crack.
I will. I will never be without it again. It saved my life. And I know what my life was intended to be because my father passed from diabetes and heart condition. I know where I would be today if I hadn't found field races. And I'll never be in that position again. And it saves me more money than it costs me. Why should I not be on it? It's cost neutral. I was spending twice as much trying to eat and be healthy before than what I am now. So why wouldn't I want to be on it?
How about you, Jason? What do you say to that? Here, I was going to answer questions, but why don't we just...
My answer to people who ask me if I'm ever going to quit is you're going to have to pry these packets out of my cold dead hands.
Gina is asking a question here directly to you, Jason. What types of meals were you eating?
All right, Gina. So when I started, I was bound determined to prove that Balance was a bunch of crap. And I continued to eat the same things for 6 months. I ate the fast food. I ate the hamburgers. I ate the pizza. I threw everything I could at it. And you just can't out-eat a packet of Balance. Now, as I progressed, I started making better choices. My mantra became make a wiser decision. Started subbing out like fried chicken for broiled chicken or grilled chicken or like fried vegetables. Got rid of those. I like my steamed broccoli now. I used to hate broccoli and now I'm a fiend for it. I don't change much. Like, I still have a carb sometimes. I have a dessert, or sometimes someone will give me a sip of something from that coffee place that's too expensive that everybody doesn't like, and I'll have it, and I'll be okay. It's not the end of the world. I had to break my food addiction. I had to break my sugar addiction, and these really help. And it made it so that I learned to appreciate food as more of a transactional thing. I put the food in, I get this much fat, I get this much protein, I get this many carbs. Like, food's not going to make you feel better after a bad day. It's not going to make your breakup go away any faster. You need to treat your food for what it is, and that's nutrition. And it's the energy that's going to keep you going.
I love it, brother. I love it. I wanted to jump in and get that question there. Stephen, I'm going to go back a question and ask you, how long do you plan on staying on it?
I'll tell you what, I'm planning to be a lifer, and here's the reason why. Is that this system is easy to use and it's so forgiving, meaning that we don't have to live such a rigid, strict lifestyle where the number one thing that will fail us is willpower. So you can forget willpower. You don't need to have strong willpower to be on this. And for that reason, if I happen to step off of the train or the bandwagon and I fall off of it tomorrow, I don't get messed up because the supplements within this, the balance is so forgiving that it covers me.
I should point out that if you were invited into this live stream, if somebody tagged you and you came if you joined this live stream through somebody inviting you, and this is something that you're interested in, get with that person. The person who tagged you, they have a referral code that gets you a lifetime discount to the manufacturer. You buy it directly from the manufacturer, and it's a membership program, and you use their referral code to get a lifetime discount to the company. And so if you are curious, you want to order the product, know that they offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. So if you're not satisfied, they'll give you all of your money back, 100% of your money back. Ask for a refund. They'll give it all back. But what if it works? What if you are that person who feels helpless or hopeless, like Stephen or Blenda or Jason, or truthfully me? I was kind of there as well. What if you are that person who feels that way and you try something thinking you're going to get your money back, and then instead you get your health back?
Right. That part right there.
I just made that up. I kind of like the way that sounds.
I went into this with absolutely nothing left to lose. And the fact that I could give it all, and if it didn't work, I was going to get my money back and not have to fight about it. Okay, you've got me interested. And the fact that I've lost a whole human being now, and they can have my money. I told them prove me wrong, and they did.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Dr. Tiffany, but first off, Stephen, Jason, Blenda, thank you guys. I really enjoyed listening to you guys. I will definitely go back and watch this more when I don't have to be the conductor with the cameras and listen to them in full again. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to shut off these cameras now, and I want to go to final words with Dr. Tiff here.
Yeah, well, we stretched out today. We had such great stories. We went over a little bit. Okay, but look, somebody has a question real quick. How do you test for excessive insulin? That's something you have to go to your doctor, get a fasting insulin test. And that's not something we usually test because we aren't taught to do that. Your fasting insulin elevates way before these other issues do, maybe 10 years. So that's a little quick answer to that. But my parting words, as we keep hearing all these great stories, if you know people who are struggling, you go to these family events, you go to these church events, you go to these group events, and you see all these people, 93% of Americans, and that's just Americans, are suffering with some sort of metabolic health disorder that is somewhere on this list surrounding insulin resistance, where insulin resistance is at the root. It doesn't make sense for us to still be seeing that. We have too many ways to help them with these easy products, 2 products, 1 simple practice with measurable results. We see it. We see the lab results. So don't sit there, do nothing. If you're somebody who's not taking your meds, you got a doctor that treated you crappily like Jason. I mean, no words for that. Don't sit there. Get up and push just like Jason did and find something that's going to help you. And this natural product, if you have those issues, this is the answer.
So if you were invited to this, I'm just going to finish this off with this. If you were invited to this, that's somebody who cares about you. They thought this thing could help you. Go back and watch it again. You'll also find you can watch last week's live stream. You can watch the week before's live stream. We're going to be doing this every single Tuesday night. We got to work on our timing a little bit, but I mean, there are worse things in the world to have other than great stories here. But it'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern next Tuesday night. If you're interested in the product, get with the person who tagged you and brought you into this, and they'll tell you exactly how to order the system. Dr. Tiff, I love this. I love this. This is fun. I'm really enjoying this, and I can't wait to see you next week.
I know. Same here.
All right, guys. Where are they saved on YouTube under? So Dr. Tiff has a YouTube channel, as do I. Dr. Tiff, you want to throw out your YouTube channel?
Yep, it's Dr. Tiffany Marie. Pretty much that's how you can find it at Tiffany Hendricks. You'll be able to see that on there. But yeah.
And mine is just the Healthy Pitmaster. You just look for the Healthy Pitmaster, and I'm the Healthy Pitmaster on all the social media platforms. Mm-hmm. So either one of us, you'll see it on that YouTube on another one of us. So, all right, Doc, we'll see you next week. I appreciate you. Yes. I really do. Yes. I really, really appreciate you. And I think everybody, I think I'm going to go so far as to speak for everybody who's listening right now. We all appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.